Ahoy! It is a brew day. We are brewing another version of the smoked porter. So, version 1, smoked porter. Cut a long story short, the keg leaked and I lost the whole thing apart from 2 pints. So I had to brew it again, and I knew that from tasting the 2 pints, I knew it wasn't quite right. It was a very good beer. So in terms of being an actual porter, I would say, I don't score beers, but I would say definitely a solid 8. And that was after 1 week in the keg. So possibly it could have got even better. As a smoked porter though, no, it was about a 6. And the reason for that was very simple. I had this theory that if I... Oh shit, hold on. Sure that heats off. So I have this theory that with smoked, when you use smoked malt, it can be really, really intense, okay? And I have this theory that I could balance up that kind of smoke intensity with using like crystal type malts. Now, I didn't use crystal malts in version 1, I used Vienna malt in combination with all the other stuff that went into it. And then at the last minute, literally as I was weighing the grains out, I decided, no, I chickened out of using 750 grams, which is what I wanted, of smoked malt, and I cut it in half. So I chickened out, cut it in half, and then when I drank it, the smoke wasn't really there. It was on the back end, but it's basically on the back end on the way out. It's been left down the road somewhere. It's been spat out the back. So this version is what version 1 should have been. Now, I've had to make a couple of amendments, obviously, to the smoked malt, but also I didn't have enough black malt. I think there was like 200 grams of black malt in version 1, but I only have like 83 grams left, so I've used Carafa 3. I've made up the 200 grams with Carafa 3 and the black malt. So I've ended up with like over a kilo of Carafa 3, and I have no memory of even buying it, never mind what I was going to use it for. So I don't know. I do intend to make a black lager at some point this year, so that will come in handy for that, no doubt. But yeah, a kilo, what the hell do you do with a kilo of Carafa 3? No idea. So that's pretty much the only major change. On the yeast, I've changed the yeast as well. So I do have a USO 5 in there, which was what was in the first one, but I've got a lot of like other yeasts. So I've got the Celtic Ale yeast by Crossway Loaf. So I'm going to use one of them and see what happens. It is a porter, so it should be fine. It's a bit less attenuating as well, so but we'll just use a little bit extra base malt. So we're aiming for about 6% or so. There's quite a lot of flaked barley as well too in here, so it should be a big thick body on it as well. And then it should be fairly sweet. The way I like my porters and stouts, I like the kind of chocolate flavours. So I find that if I use a combination of chocolate malt and brown malt, now not loads of either, probably 250 grams of each, it gives this really brilliant chocolate type of flavour off it. Real shame about that beer. Just want to think back. The tragedy of 1 week ago. This time last week I was in there with a mop. I had to use a mop to get all the beer. The keezer was basically filled to that with just this porter. And I could only scoop so much out, and I had to mop out the rest, the last few inches, and it took ages, and it was just the smell of it just broke my heart having to do that. And I filled the bucket with beer basically from the mop. I'm just gonna sparge it normally. Batch sparge, let's be technical. Just going to batch sparge it as normal, even though it's only like 6 litres or something like that. So we'll be taking a lot of the water that's in the grain, just putting it straight in. Ooh, okay. Some weight in that. It's like a balloon. Whoa, wow. Bit of a boil over there. Haven't had one of them in a while. Ugh. Okay, there's our 40 grams of Helga going in. Okay, 15 minutes to go. There's 28 grams of East Kent Goldings going in. No protoflock. Okay, that is the end of the brew day. I've made an executive decision to switch the yeast back to US-05 because we've ended up a little bit short. 105.8, 105.9, maybe 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 105.8. So that's a little bit down, so we will need those few extra points that yeast will give us. So that is it. 21 litres we have. I'm looking for the yeast. I don't know what I've done with it. There's it there. Say US-05, it's not actually US-05, it's crossed my life. US-05. Called 5, so. But it is the same stuff. Swear by those cross my life yeast these days. Very good, I have to say. Very impressed. Okay, that is it. I shall see you at the tasting video, and hopefully, we will actually get some pints out of it. There it is. That is not Guinness, that is the smoked porter. 5.8%. Smell it already, wow. So, I mean, it's just sticky lacing all the way around. Sticky, icky lacing like that. Beautiful. It's black like a stout. Could be a little bit brown, maybe when I hold it up to the light, but you know what? It's very dark. It's very dark. Okay. On the nose, it's really kind of nice and sweet and chocolatey. There's a little hint of the smoke in there. The smoke on the chocolate kind of aroma, it almost smells like a kind of, I wouldn't say, it's not a flat out coffee, maybe like a cappuccino or something like that. But yeah, it smells sweet, looks good, smells good. Let's go, cheers. It's not bad. I mean, let's get that head up again. Look at that. Look at that. My God. Okay, 5.8%. It finished at 10.14. Mouthfeel is pretty big. I'm glad to say. Flaked barley in it. There's a load of different stuff went into it. More More than the first version, but that's only because I was trying to use up bits and pieces. Like, I mean, there was Golden Promise and Morris Otter went into it, and didn't have any black, or did have a little bit of black malt left, but not enough. So I ended up using a bit of Carafa 3 to make up the numbers. But yeah, it's left it with an amazing body, basically. Nicely carbonated as well. I think it's just perfect. It's perfect now. I bottled off some of these last week to send out to people. I think maybe I could have left them. I could have left it on the gas another day or two. I think they were slightly under carbonated. I seen Matt's Grimberry and Brewer. I'll leave a link down to the video in the description. He was doing it. I seen it this morning, and it looked a little under carbonated. Now you probably would get away with it in a style like that, so it might not be too bad, but I think I maybe bottled it just a few days earlier than what I should have. But now that is absolutely perfect. And when you pour it, it has, like, you know, you can see it coming up the glass. It's just beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. I mean, that's the amount. I haven't even really started doing a review, and look how much I've drunk. It's kind of cold, actually. Maybe a little bit colder than what it should be. I think I did put the temperature on the keezer up. It was down quite low because I was trying to condition lagers, but I definitely put it back up again. But it does feel a bit cold. So I think if it warmed up, I would get even more kind of flavour of it. But first thing then was the first version didn't have enough smoke malt on it. It was a really good porter, but it wasn't a good smoke porter. It's really, really chocolatey. I mean, brown malt, chocolate malt in there, just wow. And then the smoke is definitely in there on the end, but it's not the main thing, but it is definitely noticeable. It tastes fantastic. Okay, I'm not complaining about it because it is a really good beer. But I just feel like it's missing something. I don't think the recipe's quite right yet. He says as he polishes the glass off in no time. This is like a beer review of someone else's delicious beer. No, I think it's missing something, and I think that something is the hops. So we bittered with Helga, and then we put East Kent Goldings in. I think for the next version, which probably won't be this side of the summer, be after autumn, I think I would like to use something like Columbus. Now Columbus is I really love Columbus. It works amazingly well in dark beers. If you haven't tried it, you definitely should. That kind of dank, resiny cannabis taste, that it really can, I wouldn't say destroy, I wouldn't say it go as far as to say destroy a light beer, but it can really smother a light beer, which I quite like. It works brilliantly well with the dark malts and the kind of more intense flavours. And I reckon that if I switched out the East Kent Goldings for Columbus or something similar, I think, and we got the levels right, I think you can balance all three at the same time. The smoke, the kind of sweet malt, and the Columbus flavour as well. That kind of dank resiny flavour. I think that will be even better, that beer. It's really good now. First one was really good. I think that would definitely improve it. It's just everything I want to drink, basically. Beautiful porter taste. Chocolate to die for. Not just chocolate all the way through when it goes down, then you get in the smoke of it. And that kind of balances out that sweetness. And I think if you could get that get that resiny taste in there, oh, that would be amazing. But you know what? I'm gonna have a lot of fun. Is that the right description? Drinking that keg. Gonna have a lot of fun because that is a superb beer. So close. It's so close to being perfect. But you know what? I've just knocked that pint back in no time. So that's how good it is. Thank you very much. Cheers. See you next week. So look at this bloody box sitting here from that bloody thing. The size of it. I want to do something with this. I really want to just throw it out in case I need to go back. Might need to go back. Today's brew day is nothing to go by.